Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveci, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 89 in the American Business Podcast. American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Let's look at our notes and let's talk about today's number. Today's number is 6.5. That is the average profit margin of a restaurant. That is 6.5%. And today's quote, as you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com. If I had an hour to solve a problem, I spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about solutions. That is from Albert Einstein. Well, we appreciate the partnership with the missionstatements.com, and we'll keep bringing you the quote of the day in each The American Business Podcast. Great. Well, we have a great guest today. We'll talk about business software. We'll talk about AI. We'll talk about developments in the business software industry. Let's welcome our guest and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Ben. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. How is your Bitcoin so far? Happy Halloween.
Oh, happy Halloween. It's going great. The little chill has come into the Texas area. So we're all brought our hoodies out, and but we don't quite trust it. It could go back to the 80s or 90s at any time. So we think it's fall, but and it has finally arrived here in late October.
Yes, well, I'm based in New York metro area, and I go to Texas often, of course. And I can tell the difference in terms of the climate. But in New York metro area, it's getting cooler. So the fall is here. That's for sure. It's official now.
That's great. That's great.
Well, if that's okay, we can get the conversation started. We have a lot to learn from you, considering your professional insights and background. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our listeners?
Yeah. So I am a serial entrepreneur, usually in the technical co-founder seat. I've started 5 businesses from a very early stage to an exit, and now that is what we do as Particle 41. We're a software development consultancy, but we help folks with data, AI, and cloud platforms to accelerate their business. Particle 41 is named after the 41st element in the periodic table, which is called niobium. And niobium is added to steel and makes it stronger and more flexible. And that's what we want to do with the business that we partner with.
Yeah, that's an interesting name. And thank you for sharing the background information with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, would you please tell us about your career path a little bit? How did you get started? How your career path has unfolded over the years?
Yeah. So when I was coming out of school, we were going through this little thing called the .com. I even got into some software business opportunity when I was in college. So, but after I came out of college, I did an online travel agency. Can you imagine? We created a data center inside of a storefront building, and we grew an online travel business to 70 million in travel. And it was very fast paced, very exciting. And it wasn't just selling airline tickets. It was hotels, cars, vacations, cruises, everything all under one brand. So it was a massive amount of software that needed to be built. And then I just kept with travel for a little bit while, and then pivoted to a media company in finance. Even got into some software around legal services, a business I sold to LegalZoom back in 2018. So just looking at how software can disrupt a market or an industry, and how to do that rapidly so that the business can be successful. And I absolutely love what I do. Now as the services business owner, I've just been able to brand my history of helping create success.
Well, as most of our audience know, my background is also enterprise business software, and that also fascinates me all the time. And now coupled with AI, which I'd love to talk to you about, becoming more and more exciting and future looking. But we'll get into it in a minute. How about your day-to-day work? What are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on daily basis?
Yeah, so I love helping entrepreneurs and CEOs envision a future where technology it accelerates their business, but it's also not in their way. So yeah, I love my collaboration with not only my clients but also my team. So I've personally invested in a ton of personal development content and books and research to make sure that I'm leading my team in the best possible way. And I think, people used to be what challenged me most about my business, and now it's the part that I love the most is how can I help folks eliminate false beliefs and really consider new possibilities with their business and even in their personal lives, so that they can be like well balanced, high performing professionals.
Yeah, this is really inspiring. Um, well, let's talk about business software industry a little bit. You work with different companies in different sizes in different industries to set up software systems for them, to make software products for them. How do you see the market and how do you see the challenges when you engage with organizations, companies in different sizes in terms of their software needs and how they are struggling, and what is the right time to develop a software?
Yeah. So for a long time, we talked about digital transformation. I think with AI emerging, even a digital transformation done back in 2015 or 2018 is all of a sudden out of date. So I think the challenge for business owners is they know that they need to digitally transform, but it's not a one and done experiment. They don't just they can't just do it once and then all of a sudden their business is digitally transformed. And digital transformation happens the best when the business processes, the customer is clearly identified, the problem that they want to solve is clearly identified. So it's a very delicate balance between how stable is my business without the digital interaction, and then how can the digital transformation just help it to grow. So yeah, we definitely have to help businesses understand core product principles like who is your customer and what problem do you want to solve and what's the fastest path to get there. And then we can present them all the options that technology has to offer, whether it be commercial off the shelf softwares that are integrated together or whether it be something custom. And I've always found that to fully enhance the customer experience is where custom is the most powerful. If you take off the shelf software to put that in front of your end customer, it tends not to fully allow the customer up against some limitations. So we help customers just really understand the stack of technology that's going to be involved in their business. And then we start walking their business through and figure out what kind of customer experience they want. Some businesses, it's a mobile app. That's going to be the key differentiator that that their end customer is going to interact with. Other businesses, it's a dashboard or a portal, and the more that they take stock in their customer experience, the better they will end up. Without just allowing the capabilities of technology to dictate the solution, they really need to help the customer dictate what they want, so that they can deliver to that need.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned this. So yesterday, because I'm in business software, we do a lot of partnerships, as you are familiar with. So I had a meeting with one of our channel partners yesterday, and we talk about this, right? How companies actually evolve with the help of business software, and what other elements actually get involved, such as just like you mentioned, the change management, as well as the culture of the organization, the leadership, and now we come in with the brand new software, so they need to manage this change. And it's a process. It's not easy, but once it is there, to your point, it can really make strategic difference in the marketplace for the client. That's the exciting part. I always give the example of Amazon, how they bought the warehouse robots from the company, and they stopped selling it to Walmart, Target, and other competitors, and all of a sudden they were just out of luck, and that just gave the Amazon a big leap in the marketplace. What is your take?
Yeah, no, you need to have a differentiator, and the more technology enabled your business is, the more you can create what they call a moat. And so your example is an example of a moat. What makes us different that's hard for other people to do? It's hard to create a moat without technology. So it's important to strategize that and figure out what that is, and try to stay one step ahead of your competition in those differentiations. Because yeah, and it's not exclusive to the incumbent. Like the leader in the space can always get out innovated if you're willing to take the risk. So there's definitely what you're saying is true.
Let's talk about the $1 million question, AI, and the impact of AI. So when we start talking about AI in the early days of our podcast, which is earlier this year, it was really like getting the shape, right? It's just getting started, and from earlier this year, right now, feels like years. It's just months, but feels like years in terms of the evolution of AI and adaptation, the speed of adaptation of AI. It's fascinating. From your point of view, how do you see the impact of AI, and how do you see the adaptation of businesses to AI nowadays in the marketplace?
Yeah. So I have a bunch of different directions to go with that topic because we're talking about it all the time. And the way I'll answer first is that I believe that there are three tiers or three categories of AI transformation for the business. There's tier one, I would call prompt engineering, where you're giving ChatGPT or some new AI tool, whether it be Gemini or Copilot or ChatGPT, you're licensing some LLM and you're giving it to your employee base and you're saying, hey, go knock yourselves out. And this is somewhat the Wild West because you don't know exactly how the customer is, or how your employees are using it. So you have to collect use cases and help with some training around prompt engineering, and just educate them what to do, what not to do, how to leverage that work. But it's really up to the employee to figure out the use cases and establish workflows around that. And then tier two is the workflow stage. Really, we're going to pull data in from different data sources. We're going to do some AI processing around that data, and then we're going to have a human in the loop before action is taken. And so I think a lot of businesses are building AI workflows, and we've certainly implemented a bunch of AI workflows in our service delivery. And then the third tier is the agentic tier, where you're literally delegating a piece of work to, and you expect that AI agent to act somewhat like a human in the delivery of that role or responsibility. And I think larger businesses are doing all three of these things kind of simultaneously. Whereas I think smaller businesses are kind of going from tier one to tier two to tier three and trying to navigate a progression of AI maturity through these different stages of development, right? They're starting out with kind of self-orchestration, then they're getting into some workflow with human in the loop, and then finally they're building up enough trust to launch an agent to take part of that. And like you were saying, it's all moving so fast. We're seeing how the Google and Microsoft, where we already have most of our corporate data, we're seeing how they're getting involved deeper and deeper every day. And so moving through that trajectory is becoming easier and easier. But what's true is that the digital transformation you did maybe 3 years ago is no longer as exciting, and it's if your competitors are AI transforming and becoming what we call an era 3 company, then you need to move across that trajectory as well. And so we're helping clients navigate that AI transformation. We have training programs for the prompt engineering We certainly build the AI-driven workflows, and then we've launched quite a few agents into businesses that are taking over a particular role or responsibility.
Let's talk about surviving crisis and uncertainty in business. What is your take as a business leader to overcome crisis and uncertainty in the marketplace?
Well, every crisis is an opportunity, right? When crisis happens, you have a choice. So I can think that something, a circumstance is happening to me, or I can think that it's happening for me. And I think every crisis, when looked at through this lens of opportunity, even a tenured employee comes and says, "Hey, I want to move on. I want to do something different." Great. Where are you going? This is exciting. Maybe when you get there, settle in and then introduce us. Like maybe we can partner with that business, right? It's an opportunity, not a crisis. You also now have an opportunity for some of your other employees to rise up and take on new responsibilities and grow within your organization. Now, I could think that's happening to me, and I could have a crisis dilemma as a business owner. Oh, what did I do wrong? And I could think that it's happening to me, but I choose to think about how could this be happening for me and what's my opportunity. So every crisis is an opportunity. And I think even though many businesses are being impacted by AI, it's an opportunity to reinvent and innovate at a faster pace than maybe you ever have before.
Have you ever had a role model or mentor who helped you shape your career path over the years?
I did at One Travel, my first big company. I got to work with a man named Henry Wang. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. He passed away of a really rare blood disease, and but when we were working together, he kind of tore me apart and put me back together again. He at one point, I'll tell you the best story is he came in and he started asking my team what was going on, just kind of chit chat, water cooler type conversation. And he could detect a level of uncertainty across the members of my team. And then he went to talk to me, and I'm like, I can't talk now. I'm super busy. I'm clacking around on the keyboard. And so he took my keyboard away. This is probably not something that would be acceptable in today's workplace, but he took away my keyboard and my mouse, and he said, "You can have it back when your team is aligned." And what he recognized that I was doing is a problem that many people do, where that's a mindset where they think everybody is there to make them more productive. And there's a shift that happens at some point in our career where we realize that the way to grow is for us to be focused making our team more productive. And so the life lesson here, taking away my keyboard and mouse, was okay. Once your team is fully engaged and they all know what the body of work is, when you've properly delegated to your team, then I'll give you mouse back, and you can. And so I had to go sit with each individual of my team and say, okay, I want you to work on this. Let's sit together. Let's pair program. And I had to really push the work I had about a team of 8 people, but I was pretty young. I was maybe 23, 24 years old. But I had learned a lot about how to architect the particular type of software we were working on. And I just wasn't passing that knowledge down to my team. And as a good leader, he recognized that and he came up with a strategy to shift me. And I was forever shifted. It just shifted me from an individual contributor mindset to a leadership mindset really overnight. And I'm extremely grateful for just how much time he spent with me and how he helped me anticipate how different stakeholders are perceiving the engagement. Just a little bit of anticipation and preparation goes a long way. So you can address people's concerns proactively rather than reactively. Just the number of lessons I picked up from Henry were just absolutely infinite and priceless.
if there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with our audience and with our listeners?
So, man, it will be difficult to choose one.
Or a couple of them.
Um,
We'll take them.
right. Yeah, I think the delegation, the learning to say no, and the just the idea of properly sizing and scoping the engagement, and really learning from lessons um, of trying to be a hero rather than a plan out the engagement, let people know what's in store, help people see around corners and look ahead. That any amount of proactivity is going to save so much in the long run. And I could just look back and see where I took on too much, and that was not good for the business. It would have been better for me to say, hey, we need to hire a couple of additional staff or some extra contractor to take pieces off, and just properly size and scope things up front, so that the business would be best served. I had one business that I worked with that hadn't done any IT upgrades or any kind of real infrastructure improvements in years, maybe 10 years. I walked into their IT closet and it was like Indiana Jones with Cat 5 cable going from one side of the IT closet to the other. And it was just very clear that they needed some major help. And as I started um, moving them from on-premise IT solutions to cloud-based IT solutions, the amount of change that the business was asking for was very rapid. But it was like the ownership was asking for this rapid change. The organization itself, the people doing the work, didn't understand how aggressive all that change was going to be. So in retrospect, this is uh, easily 15 years ago. It would have been better to plan out that change and bring the ownership together with the employees and say, okay, this month we're going to change these services. And I just think there was an opportunity for more proactivity, which would have also helped me get more help engaged in that process. I mean, they're remodeling their office, changing email solutions, phone solutions, everything was changing at once. And in retrospect, I would have managed the change more than managed the technology. And so I think that was the big lesson there, is how important organizational behavior change and what the tolerance for change is within the organization.
Is there any book, a show, a movie that help you shape your career perspective?
It is super hard for me to pick one. My favorite movie of all time is Good Will Hunting. Just a powerful story. I think we all come from a certain humble beginning to do great things, and how that showed up in that movie was really awesome. How important it is to process wherever you came from and whatever childhood you had. It's important to process that so it doesn't hold you back. So that's my favorite movie of all time. Um, I have read a ton of books around leadership and personal development, um, but the one that I'll tip the most is one. There's a body of work that Byron Katie is the author. Um, she has a great body of work, really talking about, it's really a deep way to reframe situations into first principles. So she has a process of really holding a thought and asking, well, is that thought really true? And so I've run into executives that, like, well, my particular customer base is very hard to market to. Like, is that really true? Right. And then holding whether that's true, and if the thoughts and feelings around that particular thought are serving you, or if you need to reframe them. Is that really true that my particular audience is super hard to market to, or do I need to find a different approach or a different angle and continue to be creative in that process? And then go ask for help or talk to other people that might be trying to approach your same audience to overcome some of those potentially false beliefs. And so I love Byron Katie's work. I think it's been super powerful to help reframe and just stay consistent with a first principles type of thinking.
What is your biggest passion and interest outside of work?
So much to my wife's chagrins, a lot of the things I love to do are also like if you were an outside observer seeing me, I love digital things, right? So I really got into this racing culture around Linux. I run a Linux desktop as my daily driver. So I love that. I have a home lab. We wanted to teach my 11-year-old son some additional responsibility. So I ended up finding a habit tracker online, hosting it here at the house. And so it's just a web app that we track his responsibilities, and he earns coins. And based on the number of coins he wins or he earns inside of the application, that dictates his amount of screen time that he's able to participate in. So if he does all of his chores and earns enough coins over the week, then he can play Xbox all day Saturday. Like he could just go, on a bender on Saturday. And so, yeah, so just being able to use the world of open source and the world of software to improve my life and my family's life. We share audiobooks on an open source service called Audio Bookshelf. And I've also been able to reduce some of the things that we might normally have to pay subscriptions for by hosting it here in my home lab. So yeah, I feel like what I do for a living is a superpower. But I'm also extremely passionate about business coaching and just helping folks that are at a different stage in their career development. So I tend to run about 3 to 5 hours a week in one-on-one coaching because I just love helping people reach new possibilities and unlock their potential. Sometimes that can be talking about their marriage. Sometimes that could be talking about their business or their faith. I really am enjoying this world of personal development, and I'm really passionate about coaching. My wife and I are starting an organization called the Healed Marriage because we just believe there's a shortage of healed marriages where the man and the husband and wife are fully engaged on the same mission. So they've agreed what their purpose as a family is, and they're on purpose and on mission towards that outcome. And even if it's murky, they have some sort of a shared vision together that they're working together for because that true partnership is just man. When you get that tuned up, there's just nothing like it. Your kids don't stand a chance because they can't divide you or create conflict within your marriage. So yeah, this is a new journey for us where we're starting to work with couples on having what I would call a high performance marriage.
Is it a non-profit organization or is it something that you do?
No, it will be a for-profit, and my wife is starting to take clients now for women who want to have a high-performant marriage. Maybe they feel like something is missing there, and probably next year I would start to take some clients for the same. But we're really finding that a lot of female professionals want to figure out how to become mission aligned with their husbands. And so she's taking those sessions. And then we're planning some events in 2026 where we could bring couples together to continue to explore that.
This is a question that we got it from our audience. So it's a different question and we get different answers. If you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
Yeah, I can't think, to be honest, I really can't think of a better time than right now, just since I am such a digital dude. I can't imagine, but I think the early computing days, where Bill Gates is running around and Steve Jobs is running around, and I remember I was probably in elementary school at this time. So to know what I know now, but go back to probably what it would have been the early 80s when the PC was just coming out, I would probably be frustrated with its power potential, like what you could actually do with it.
Probably the XTs, right? 8086 CPU.
Yeah, I had a
The
Commodore
with the
64 and
5.25 disk, yes.
yeah, yeah, I had a Commodore 64 and an Apple II and a 486 and these
Yes.
kinds of things. I would imagine I'm really disappointed with what they're actually capable of, knowing what I know now.
Yes,
But it was an exciting time, right? Where much
absolutely.
like now with AI, things were just rapidly innovating. And 1 year a phone was bigger than your head, and the next year it was at the
Now you
size of
can
your
fold it.
hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing times. Yes, well, seeing that absolutely, seeing that evolution, actually, we really witness it. I mean, when you just actually spell it out, when we think about it, starting from the 525, or maybe just Commodore, let's starting with the disc or tapes, right? From there
Yeah.
till now,
Yeah.
it's quite
Yeah,
an
I had
evolution.
a junior high friend, and we both had a Commodore 64, and so we were trying to send messages back and forth to each other, but we could only send like 8 characters at a time. And then a couple of
Yes.
years later, the Prodigy came out with the instant messenger, and we just
Ah,
thought that was amazing. But we were grasping at this idea of instant messenger, and just didn't have the technical skills to produce it. But we
mhm.
wanted it so bad, and I remember messaging with him, "Hi, it finally exists." So to go back with some knowledge and be able to maybe maybe pre-create one of those softwares that we all started to depend on would be really fascinating.
Absolutely. I remember back in the time waiting for um, recording the game or data into the cassette tape. It was taking like
Yeah,
an hour, and then taking it
yeah,
to home, connect to the computer, and wait another hour. It needs to read,
right.
and then you have it on the screen, and it's connected to your TV.
Yeah,
Was quite an experience. Interestingly, when was it? A couple years ago, I found an emulation. It's like you see those Commodore type of games, but it emulates to our modern laptops nowadays. That you can just see those games in our modern laptops. It's kind of nostalgic seeing those games, but it's it's really interesting
yep, yep,
seeing
yeah.
the change and evolution.
I think somewhere around the house we have a Raspberry Pi that has over 250 arcade games, and for a while my son and I were bit graphic games, and he quite enjoyed that, the simplicity and the elegance of some of those games. They're still fun today.
They are absolutely, absolutely. Well, when we look at our audience in the American business podcast business community, it's a mix of business professionals. Some of them in the middle of their career path, some of them seniors, some of them they are just entering into the job market. What will be your career advice for the next generation business professionals?
Yeah, so don't wait to start solving problems. I often interview intern level folks that want to get into software development, and that's the question I ask them. And what problems have you solved with technology? And there is such a clear difference between folks that have an aptitude to find problems and start solving them, to folks that are waiting for me to give them a problem and train them. This is a totally big difference. And so when I'm meeting a young person, I remember meeting one young person who I asked this question to, and then he really couldn't tell me anything. But then he also shared that his parents owned a small business, And I was like, your parents own a small business. You have infinite number of problems that could be solved digitally. And so my advice to him was go get in there, solve problems. You will probably have to not worry about money as much and just enjoy the problem solving process. So many businesses have spreadsheets and people are doing things off the spreadsheets. Go build a system that replaces a spreadsheet and does some of that stuff automatically. And right now it's easier than ever because AI will literally teach you how to do it. And versus an intern who said, oh, well, I created a game and I used Reddit to be my interface for a role-playing game, or oh, I am downloading my assignments from the school system to remind me when my assignments are due. So two people at the same stage in life, one is actively trying to solve problems and the other one is waiting for a job before they start that process, just totally different. And I think the type of innovative people who are finding problems to solve on their own, they will go so far so quickly, even in a market that may be pressuring the entry level roles. They'll find a way through if they're innovating in real time.
For those who like to continue this conversation, to get in touch with you, to learn about your company, what is the best way to be in touch with you?
Yeah, so my parents kind of in this social media world, they kind of cursed me with one of the world's most common names. So I'm a little bit hard to find through the social webs. Benjamin Johnson is my LinkedIn. But also just go to particle41.com, particle41.com. I have an appointment link. You can just click on there, schedule a meeting, and you'll be on the phone with me as soon as your schedule permits. So I'm really easy to connect with, but probably easiest way is particle41.com, and click to have a chat with me right on the homepage. And I would love to connect with anyone who wants to continue the conversation.
Ben, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, love it. Thanks, Kevin.
Schedule.
Appreciate all you're
Yes, that was
doing. And congratulations on the 120,000 followers. What a great channel you have.
I appreciate it. Yes. Well, thank you very much for your support. It's become possible with experts like yourself and with our audience. And we truly appreciate you being here and sharing your professional insights
It's my pleasure.
professional wisdom with us. Yes,
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
This is priceless. Thank you so much. And we should do it again.
Yeah.
And we should do part 2 sometime in New Year, hopefully.
Yeah, we'd love
to. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much. I wish you a great weekend and happy Halloween again.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, thank you very much for being with us in this beautiful Friday. And it's Halloween, right? So happy Halloween to you all. I hope you enjoyed the conversation today. It was actually very informative when we think about it. We learn a lot, right? Especially about the business software industry and the importance of business software, how actually it is strategic and how it can make changes in the journey of businesses as well as professionals. So it was a great conversation with Ben Johnson from Particle 41. It was very informative. Would you like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast? You can send us an email. You can join us, share your professional insights with us, share your professional wisdom with us. Our email is americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We are very responsive. We also welcome advertisers and sponsors for our podcast. If you like to advertise your company, your products and services, you are more than welcome. We love to start the conversation. If you like to also sponsor the American Business Podcast episodes, you are more than welcome to send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Do you have an idea for the podcast? Would you like us to share and cover certain subjects in the American Business Podcast? You can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. As you know, last month we got the YouTube Silver Award because we have right now more than 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Thank you very much. If you haven't done so, please scan this QR code. It's right here on the screen. You can scan this QR code. It'll take you directly to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. And if you are feeling generous, Also, please share your thoughts, put your comments in the chat box in YouTube, and support us. Your support is important to us. We really appreciate it. With your help and support, we come this much, and we know that we can do more and deliver more to the business community. And we truly appreciate your support, and we truly appreciate your subscription in YouTube and other social media channels that we are streaming. We are also welcoming you to our website, americanpodcast.tv. In our podcast website, you can see who is coming into our episodes in coming days, coming weeks, what type of subjects we will cover. You can learn about it. And also, you'll also learn more about our podcast and podcast team as well. So please visit our website. It is americanpodcast.tv. Great. What else is happening? As you know, we have actually monthly online networking event. We call these the Connectional America Business Alliance. That's a business alliance that we put together to create business networking events on monthly basis and advocate for businesses. Having said that, our next online business networking event is scheduled for November 21st, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you're interested, if you'd like to introduce yourself, your company, your products and services, please register. It is limited to 8 attendees. And the cool thing about this networking event is that you'll be able to network with other business professionals. And at the same time, live, you'll be in front of the thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers and listeners. So you'll be on the podcast, and at the same time, you'll be networking with other business professionals. How cool is that? So that's what actually makes the Connectional America Business Networking events unique. You are more than welcome to join us. I have the QR code on the screen. When you scan it, it'll take you to our registration page. You can register and join us. Limited seating, and I hope you can make it. Also, recently we started our membership program. If you'd like to support the American Business Podcast, we have different membership programs, different types. When you scan this QR code, you can see different types of membership with different benefits that we are offering as a token of appreciation. You can pick the one that works for you and join the American Business Podcast membership program, and we'll truly appreciate your support. If you'd like to learn about Excel and other Microsoft business software systems, consider Ms. Excel. I have the QR code on the screen. They have a fun and enjoyable way of teaching Excel and other Microsoft Excel and Word and other Microsoft business software products. I have the QR code. You can scan the QR code. You can take a look at their course catalog. And before you check out, make sure you use the discount code coming from the American Business Podcast. It is ABP 2025. If you are in the market for a VPN software, consider IPVANISH VPN. I use IPVANISH as well. It is a solid VPN system to have a secure internet use and surfing experience. I have their QR code on the screen that you can connect, you can learn more about. And if you're interested, also you can subscribe to IPVANISH VPN. If you're in the market for an ERP system, especially SAP and Oracle, for implementation and support, consider iTech Consulting. iTech is specialized in SAP ERP system and Oracle ERP system. For those who are not familiar with ERP, ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning Software. That's fundamentally a software platform that you can run your accounting, finance, purchasing, planning and other operations. So it's a complete business software system, and the deployments and support requires expertise. That is why we are recommending iTech Consulting Company. I have their QR code on the screen. When you scan it, you can connect to their website and you can learn more about their services and get in touch with them. When you get in touch with them, make sure you mention that you learn about them from the American Business Podcast. That's it for today. Thank you very much for listening and watching the American Business Podcast. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business in any size and in any industry. Thank you very much for your support, and happy Halloween.